start the recording? Oh, there you go. Thank you so much. All right. Good morning, everybody. You are at the Atomic Team meeting, and today we have a really awesome treat for you. Jerry Herrman, who's the founder of Clarity Now, 18-year veteran of our real estate industry, top real estate coach, coaching some of the top teams in the country. And he's going to share with you a demo of software that he actually, and I need to credit Stephanie Peck and Justin Stoddard because they really discovered this guy for us. And it was funny because when Justin did the text intro, he's like, "Yeah, this is like the most impressive software I've seen for this purpose." And I'm like, "Wow, okay, I guess I'll take this meeting," you know. And that's exactly how I came away from the meeting feeling. And so if I were still coaching agents, which of course I do still mentor them, but I literally would not take a coaching client without requiring them to use this software. If I were running a team, it would be a basic requirement that you used this software for your production and forecasting of your business. It is that good. So without further ado, Jeremy, let's have it. What you got?
Thank you. I appreciate that introduction and kind words. And Justin and Stephanie, I certainly owe a lot to you as well. So thank you for putting me in front of Don and ultimately the group. I want to start. I love the name of this group, Atomic Habits. I personally think that one of the habits that I really wish every agent would adopt, if you haven't already, is the habit of looking at numbers, right? Is the habit of creating a business plan based on net profit, is the habit of quit creating goals based on units, volume, or GCI, but instead on how much money you want to bring home to your family. And actually, yeah, Matthew, even Lakers and Celtics fans can both agree that that's the most important metric, is how much you bring home for your family. And really just making sure we know where we're at throughout the year. I find in 18 years in real estate and as a coach, this is one industry that it pains me to watch agents work their freaking tails off all year long, and at the end of the year, see how much they have left over versus creating a plan based on net and then working to hit quarterly and monthly goals. So all of that, I love the name of the meeting, and certainly I love that book. So if it's okay with you, Don, I'll just jump in and just show the product and get started. Is that good?
Yeah, it is. And as we go, if you'll just, if you guys have clarifying questions, put them in the chat. I'll look for that. And then Jeremy, as you're presenting, which you've got about 20 minutes to do, just catch a breath every once in a while so that I can ask a clarifying question myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Feel free to cut me off wherever you'd like. I'm certainly comfortable with that. Okay. Let me start by showing you the product. And I'll tell you guys a quick background on this is, again, I'm a coach. And in short, I need to know my clients' numbers. And I found that most agents don't know their numbers. So I created a giant spreadsheet like a lot of you guys probably have and have seen. And I just got lucky that my good friend is an engineer. And we've spent a handful of years now turning my spreadsheet into software. So that's how this came to be. So it came from my knowledge of the industry and my need as a coach. The couple things I'll show you that I think really make us unique is the ability to create a plan based on net. I'll show you that first because it's really, really powerful, like I already alluded to. It works for everybody. So I own a team. I have additional salespeople. I'm on a team, which, guys, I've always loved that status because, again, I've found that a lot of rainmakers will get the tech, but the team members on the team don't always get access to tech or have their own tools, and they're their own business too. They just choose to work with you. So I'm on a team or I'm an individual agent. You may have staff, but no additional salespeople. So it's applicable for everybody. I'm going to show that I own a team economic model first. The first question is, what do you want to net? So let's say I want to net $500,000. This is a big room here. I have my average sales price, average commission. This is important too. And I say
can you put in average sales price 420 just so it's pretty consistent with our team?
Yeah, love it. 420. This is important too, because as we're likely to potentially see commission compression over the next couple of years, put whatever you want to put for your average commission on your business plan. Put 2.1, 2.2, whatever you desire. but don't change the net is the point, right? See how the rest of the math shakes out. You have your listing conversion ratios. What percentage of your business do you want to be listing based? You have your buyer conversion ratios. On average, how much do you spend per month on your business? There's also a deep dive and more business planning for a budget model and a lead gen model too. That's again all based on real estate. For this business, I'll say I'm spending $35,000 a month. So $420,000 a year. This is important. We're broker agnostic. So this is saying, is there a maximum amount that you pay your broker per year? And at EXP, it's $16,000 cap. So $16,000 is the cap. And then there's later, I'll show you where there's a transaction fee part. Do you also have a franchise fee? I'll say no. This is super important. This is what made the math so difficult, is if I selected I'm a rainmaker, and by the way, this one screen is different depending upon if you picked I'm an individual agent on a team or on a team. This is saying as a rainmaker, how many listings and how many buyers are you personally signing up for? Because that completely changes the economics, right? If the rainmaker is heavy in production or out of production, it's going to change the units dramatically if we're focused on net. So let's say I'll do 35 listings and 10 buyers, and here's the average split to my team members on the listing side and the buy side.
And would you put 50% in for the team split?
On both? Sure.
Oh, I see. 35 on listing. No, actually, that's probably right. 35 on listing, 50 on buyer is fine.
Love it. Good. Glad we agree. We were going to go into paying 50% on a listing on this call, Don. Do you have an ISA department? Yes or no? How many referral fees do you think you'll pay out in units? And on average, what rate will you pay? So this includes lead sources and obviously agent to agent. This is the part where you put, do you have any per transaction cost? So I know at EXP, there's a certain dollar amount after you cap until you hit a certain amount. You could put an average in there. If you pay your admin a TC bonus on every file closed, or if you pay, any other fees that happens per transaction, I'm going to leave it at 250 and 250 because
if you don't mind, why don't you make it 75, because it's zero until they cap, and then it's 250 for the next 20 transactions. I think we were saying 75 might be a good average for most.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do 75. And if you do have an admin that you pay a bonus to, just add that on top. Okay. Next here, seasonality. What seasonality do you want your business to be in? It comes auto set at 20, 30, 30, and 20. And you can certainly change it and should change it based on your business and change it throughout the year too to update your goals. Hit submit, and now every single agent in the industry can have a plan based on net. So in this case, if I want to net $500,000, it's 47 million, 1.3 in GCI, 112 units. But what's really cool is as a rainmaker, I signed up for 35 listings and 10 buyers, which means that I now know that I need to have a team that can do 32 listings and 35 buyers. So this is my gap that I need to recruit to. Do I have the people that can actually accomplish that? If not, go recruit, or maybe you got to change your net, or maybe you need to increase your personal production. You can go back in and hit edit and go through it again until you like what the numbers look like for you. Your cost of sale is $395. You got your broker, you got your agent compensation, you have your referral fees, the transaction per transaction cost. In this case, your 30% cost of sale, $920 gross profit. You said you'd spend $420 on the business. That gets you back to your $500,000 net up above. In this model, you're 38% profitable. And here's the activities that you have to do to actually hit your goal. So first things first is every single agent in the industry, and certainly in this organization, can build a plan based on net that they're now working towards achieving throughout the rest of the year. Any questions, comments on that, Don, or anything you'd like to add to that? Or anyone else?
You did it in the context of a team.
Yep.
Would it take long if you ran that scenario to make $250,000 as an individual?
No. In fact, we can do it really fast if you like. I'm an individual agent and I want to net $1 million.
No, 250.
Oh, okay. 250.
I'm sure they'd like to net $1 million, but one step at a time.
Average sales price, commission, the same percentage of business, how much you spend. An individual agent's probably spending more like $8,000 a month, maybe.
Well, let's do let's do 10%. So 2,500 actually, right? On, well, 250,000 would be 25,000 a year. Well, let's say 2,500 a month.
Okay, great. 2,500 expenses, 3,000 a year, 30,000 a year. You got your cap, referral fees, 10, 25. You can change that again too if you like.
And to clarify, when you put in that 20, that I was thinking of marketing spend, but was that total cost of the team that you were estimating there? Is that why you said 8,000?
Yeah, total expenses. You got your compensation, your admin team, you got your support.
Yeah. Okay. Then you're probably closer to accurate. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Let's go change that.
I was just thinking in the context of
Just lead gen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So $8,000 a month is probably about what that person would spend, depending upon if they have an admin or not.
Yeah.
Hit seasonality, hit submit.
I'm hoping they do.
And now for an individual agent, 250 is 14.2, 34 units, 20 listings, 14 buyers. Here's their cost of sale. Here's their expenses. They're 62% profitable, and here's their appointments.
Yeah. And that conveniently also makes them an icon, so they'll get their cap back in stock. But
yep.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to show you guys to move along here is what we call the goal gap. And I think it's extremely powerful. And this is an example of this product being built by a coach, frankly. And it stems from this. It's what is your average contract to close? How long does it take you to make a listing go live from the time that you get it signed? So photo staging, whatever you choose to do. And then what's your average days on market? What this does, so you guys know how this works, is it totals up these numbers and it subtracts it from December 31st. And it creates what we call your goal gap report. So what this does is it says that you have 66 days left to sell for properties that can close in Q3. Okay. Now you only have 47 days left to take a listing that can close in Q3. I want to show you guys something interesting that's really cool. Let's say the market adjusts and pivots. Now we have an 80-day on market, which, you know, I've sold in a 300 plus days on market before. If I had an 80 average days on market now it shows that you only have 74 days left to take a listing that can close for the year. But most importantly, what's so important for agents to understand is that most agents only think about what I call the closings year, January through December, but they forget about the activities year, right? In this case, the activities year is August 24th to August 23rd if you have an 80 days on market. Right? To showcase the rest of this, I want to show you guys a real account with real data in it so you guys can see what it looks like with not a demo account. And I'm going to show you my coach account here, which also means that you can give viewer access to people. So for example, these are all the accounts that I've given access to. So if you are a rainmaker, as an example, and you have buyer's agents on your team, this would be all of your buyer's agents that you could hop in and out of. So I'm going to show you guys this guy's account. So this is a goal gap for this gentleman. He has 70 days left to sell for Q3, 37 days left to take a listing for Q3. His goal is to get 22 listings signed. So far, he's at 10. His goal is to sell 41 for 7.6. Right now, he's at 6 for 2.1. Therefore, his gap, he still needs 12 listings, 35 sales for $5.4 million. And the gap, based on how much time you have left to achieve those two things, take listings and sell, this is the magic right here. Here's what you have to do this week to stay on track. So if I'm doing a coaching call or a one-on-one or my team meeting, is this week you got to sign 3, sell 4 for $550,000. And that is one of the main habits I wish agents would adopt, is the habit of looking at your business each week and knowing, what do I have to do this week to stay on track to hit my income goal for my family and not just work the whole damn year and see what's left. Questions, thoughts, comments on that, guys?
Yeah, I love it. Is there, so this is our weekly activity. Is there anywhere to put in the description of the activity that would cause that to occur?
Yeah, there is. And I'll get there in just one moment if it's okay. Yeah, we have daily tracking. You put your listings and transactions in here. Really all the listings and transactions, all the data is pulling from your listings and transactions in the system. So for example, this guy in transactions, he has 56 total pending and closed for 11.4 million bucks. If I just want to see my pendings, I'm at 12 for 3.5. I can see when he sold the house, when it's supposed to close. So all the reporting is pulling from transactional data. One thing to note, this is the coach in me, is I have coached people for years where every week they say they take a listing and then it never actually shows up. Right? So the goal gap specific to listings taken is not from you entering, I took a listing in the system in your lead gen. It's from listings actually submitted into the system. So the goal gap, if it doesn't look correct, you haven't put the listing in or you haven't gotten assigned yet. So that's pulling from actual listing activity, not just saying, I got it signed when you really haven't, because I've experienced that as a coach a lot. That helped, Don?
Yeah, that's great.
I want to show you guys another thing. The two parts that I think are really, really important is we're also the only real estate software that has a real estate P&L. And again, I think that our mission as a company is transforming agents into becoming better business owners. And a P&L is one of the critical parts about being a business owner. And I found that a lot of agents don't have them. And I don't blame the agent, just so we're clear. I think that not everybody is great at the business side, at the number side, at the spreadsheet side of the business. It's just hard to have a P&L based on real estate. And what I've also found is that a lot of agents that do have P&Ls, their P&Ls are wrong. And they're wrong because they're starting with the gross profit line, the amount of income that came into their account, versus a real estate P&L should be based on the GCI of the business that factors in cost of sale, which then determines your gross profit, and all of your expenditures should be based on the total revenue, not on your gross profit. So a lot of people are paying for bookkeepers, and frankly, it's the wrong P&L unless they specialize in real estate. So I'll show you this. So this has listing income, buyer income, transaction fee. I have my cost of sales, broker fees. Again, this is a real P&L here of a client. I can see everything by a dollar amount or by a percentage of total revenue. So if I look at it, April, for example, this guy, major listing month, didn't do a whole lot of buyers. He had a lower cost of sale than probably would be expected, probably because he sold more of the real estate himself, had a 77% gross profit. 7.3% of all of his revenue went towards compensation. He spent $4,600 of the $75,000. So I can easily see how much I've spent per category. Vendor, profit share, everything, net profit down below. If I want to see a deep dive of my expenses, here's all the line items that made up those expenditures. And then a visual charts and graphs aspect as well. So if I want to see a visual P&L, or also a quarter P&L, we also give you that viewpoint, again, everything by dollar amount or percentage. So again, a huge value add of Clarity Now is everybody has a P&L based on real estate. The best part about it though, Don, is all the listing and the cost of sale data, that's all automatically pulling from transactions. So 2/3 of the P&L is accurate without you having to enter anything more than your transactions. If you want to get your expenses in here, you have two options. One, we have a QuickBooks API, or two, you just fill out the form, which I'll address this quick. Filling out a form of your expenses is probably the worst task of your entire month. And for most people, it probably is like 30 line items for your entire month. So it's like 17 minutes if you don't have a QuickBooks API. And that's just part of the discipline of being a business owner, of getting that done. So you can either do a form or a QuickBooks API if you do have QuickBooks.
Yeah, that's great. Justin was asking if it syncs with bank accounts. I'm wondering if QuickBooks probably does, huh?
Yeah, so right now it's the data's pulling from QuickBooks. We don't yet sync with bank accounts. I like the idea of doing an integration with Plaid, because Plaid does all the bank accounts. That would be really neat. We don't have that yet, and certainly I would say it's to come. The way the QuickBooks API works is you have your bank account connected to QuickBooks, so all the expenses are coming into QuickBooks, and then they're coming out into Clarity Now. The way that what we pull is we pull the date, the amount, the description, and then you just tell it what category you want it to go into. And then the next time the same description, word for character by character comes through, it'll automatically apply that same category, so you don't need to do it again. You also have the ability to put in a recurring expense. So if you're doing it manually, you don't have QuickBooks, you could just say it's recurring, and every month on the 12th or whatever date you pick, it'll automatically be applied.
So the teams that are utilizing this, and maybe you could also give us individuals. The ones that have an admin maintaining it for them to produce a monthly P&L, what do you say that they're probably spending with that assistant to do that?
Yeah, so the way it would work is in the team functionality, they would just give their admin edit access to the portal. And we don't charge for editors or viewers. We only charge for agent seats for your team members. So then you just give ownership of your admin. So every time you guys take a listing or sell a house, they're coming in here and they're entering the form. The two things I'll spot check for you guys on this that I look at is if I'm looking at just the pendings. The two things I'll look at really to make sure my admin's doing their job appropriately is I'll look at one, projected close dates. My people know that I don't ever want to see a projected close date in the past. That irritates me, right? Because now if that's in the past, that's wrong. So what else is wrong? Right? So I always want to see a projected close date in the future, which this client does a good job of that. I also will click on contract date, and I like to click on it twice so I can see the most recent first. And I'll just see when's the last time we sold a house, right? So if I'm having a coaching call with someone and say that, say the most recent data was May 19th, I would ask, is it true that we haven't sold a house since May 19th? And they would say, oh no, we must be missing some, right? So I look at contract dates and I look at projected close dates. The other report I want to show you really quick that I think is very powerful, arguably the most powerful report in the system for being a business owner. It lives in the CEO summary, and there's a drop down here, and it's called the projected net profits report. This is so powerful, guys. And this again goes back to habit building. What this report does is it takes the pending gross profit and the closed gross profit. So not your GCI. For this report, I don't care about GCI. I care about gross profit, your money, right? Got pending, got closed. It adds it up. How much you said you would spend per month in your economic model, that carries through to here. And then therefore, what is your estimated net profit? I know in looking at this account, we're going to net somewhere around 33,000 in June, somewhere around 28,000 in July. Right now, we're losing 12 grand in August. So when I'm looking at someone's account or my own account for that matter, if I'm doing a coaching call, for an example, I look at future cash flow and I look at the goal gap. And right down here, how big is this number? The cash flow in the goal gap tells me if we have permission to talk about anything other than production, right? Or if this call is allowed to talk about your sister, whatever you choose. But if we're behind on cash flow and the goal gap looks big, we're not talking about your sister. We're talking about production.
So in this context, if there's a $12,000 deficit projected for August, but if that's actual, we're just barely into June, he or she could still put deals in escrow that would close in August and close that gap, I presume.
Here, we got 70 days left. So right now that tells me that obviously Q3 is July, August, September. We have 10 days left to still sell for July because there's 70 days left out of 90. Makes sense? Mm-hmm. So if we're looking at August, we still have 40 days left to sell for August. So if I'm looking at his cash flow and I can see here that first off, July looks pretty good based on, this person's numbers. July's got 28 grand. We still got a week left. We're negative in 12, but we got a full 40 days to go. I'm probably not as concerned. What I would look at is I would look at the pipeline, which I haven't shown you this yet. Don, can I take 2 seconds on this? Are you okay with that?
Absolutely.
All right. So I've seen a lot of CRMs in this business that have pipeline ratings as like hot, medium, cold, right? And the challenge is, what the heck does hot mean? And no one on your team gives you the same definition, right? And then I've also seen statuses that say like 30 days, 90 days, 180 days. The challenge with that is for a lot of teams, someone labeled 30 days has been labeled 30 days for 6 months. Right. So again, I can't trust it. I don't know if it's true. The way that we do the pipeline is just the way that, frankly, I think is how it should be done in real estate, where we use a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 system, where a 10 is I'm getting that listing paperwork signed this month. A 9, I'm getting it signed next month. Right. Or on the buy side, if this was a buyer pipeline, they are purchasing a home this month. They are purchasing a home next month. So if it's June 27th and I go to my pipeline and I see 4 10s on the listing side, that means you're expected to get 4 listings signed in the next 3 days.
Now, do we have the ability to determine or edit those fields and determine our own definition of a 1098, or is it fixed that way?
No, that's a philosophical rule on our end.
Okay. Okay, so because one of the things that we're now being faced with is buyer broker agreements. So I would presume that these are all, if you're projecting buyers, these are all with people that you have signed buyer broker agreements.
Not necessarily. You know, we have, like, for example, if I go on the buy side, here's my whole pipeline, or I can just see my nurture, sets, held, agreement signed, etc. So we can break it down into deeper statuses too.
Okay, cool.
And I can see the status here. So ideally, they're all saying agreement signed.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but at least we know which ones are, which ones aren't. So that's great.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Hey guys, to give you some perspective on this, Tom and I are looking at this as a possible enterprise acquisition for all of you. And we individually, I think, Jeremy, is it not $79 a month for someone to subscribe, $129 for a team?
Correct. Yeah. 79 or 129, team or individual.
Okay. So we're thinking of acquiring the rights to the software for all of you on an enterprise level. Okay. It would be a material investment for us. That being said, we would consider doing it if we got enough feedback to say, absolutely love it. I would use that. And I would be grateful that our organization had it for my future recruits as well. And if that's the feedback that we get, then it's very likely we will do that. And then I know that Stephanie Peck is scheduled to have Jeremy on again on the June 24th. And so if we do acquire it, Jeremy has offered to actually help train us on deploying this, right? Because today you're getting like a quick peek at a demo, and obviously Jeremy does it at light speed. And for us mere mortals, we would probably want to be able to actually learn how to do it ourselves or have our admins do it. And that would also afford you time if you're going to have an admin running this for you. Then you could have them come on June 24th. Which, by the way, that's a question, Jeremy. Do you have VAs that could run it for our people for a fee?
I love the idea. That has been bouncing around, not yet, but I think it's something that we probably could do.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I address quickly the how to use it part? And yes, I'll do as many trainings with you guys as possible, but we actually have in the software, there's a couple of things I'll show you really fast. Is when you log in, you start off on a homepage and then you click into your dashboard. I'm in a viewable account right now, so mine doesn't have a dashboard. But on every homepage, we have these 5 videos: how to use Clarity Now to run your business, how to do a one-on-one, how to run your team meetings, how to use it to manage your finances, and how to do business planning. You click on this, it's all chaptered out, edited well. So most of what you need is always here for you in video format. Also, too, in the Get Help section, we have 4 certifications that you guys can take. One is an admin certification, which is how to enter data, right? CEO certification, how to read it. Business planning makes sense. And then lead gen is the daily tracking in the pipeline. So we also have this for you guys as well. So our goal is, frankly, if you guys have a ton of questions every day, then we're not doing a good job of software of making this learnable, for lack of accurate word. But there's a lot in there for you guys.
Yeah, love it.
So,
And
Jeremy, there was a question. Sorry,
go
Don,
ahead,
real
Matthew.
quick. There was a question that was asked in the chat. I think I answered it well, but I'd love for you to speak to it. Jackie was saying, can we use this for recruiting or agent attraction? And I think absolutely. You could read my response and add or take away.
Yeah, you can use the coach learn to action learn goal setting. Yeah, I think you're exactly correct. And that's actually a big feature of the enterprise. I believe that on a recruiting appointment, your ability to come in here, I'm going to pull up a demo account again. Your ability to come into your dashboard and pull up an economic model. And what I would probably suggest is have one of these years, probably like a 2018, since we're not going to go backwards, obviously, have 2018 just dedicated to recruiting appointments. And your ability to do an economic model with the recruit, with I'm on a team, how much do you want to net, and then go through the splits in my organization. People don't care about the splits. They care about how much money they make and how many homes they have to sell. That's my belief. So I think the economic model is actually a phenomenal recruiting tool. So I think it's a great question, Jackie, and Matthew, thanks for A, responding, and B, bringing that back up.
Yeah, and that, as you might imagine, is part of Tom and my thought process, is that if we did acquire this at an enterprise level, you guys would then be able to deliver that as a value add to anyone that you attracted, right? Because outside of our organization, they'd be paying $79 individually or $129 as a team. So yeah, again, if we get the feedback, and I'm seeing a lot of really positive response in the chat, we'll go ahead and press forward on this. But I'm excited about it. Of course, I'm a bit of a numbers geek, and but I've not. It's usually too much work to track all the things that really matter, and so most people don't do it. And Clarity Now seems to have made this simple enough that I believe we could actually have this a tool that people would use. And like I said, I mean, I actually, if I were running a team, I would not allow someone on the team without them using this, right? And I think that's also kind of nice too, if you're the team lead, because a lot of times there's this sort of this dependent relationship. But when the individual on the team is looking at themselves as a CEO and running their own business, it's just that they've chosen this alignment with Stephanie's team or Matthew's or whatever, you then have a greater level of ownership, I think. And so I'm excited about it.
Real estate's nothing more than a funnel for creating cash, and then taking that cash to go and build wealth. That's my personal belief, right? That's why we should start with net. If the goal is to break even and pay your household bills and get by, just go do something else. That's easier, right? The goal should be to build wealth. So that to build it based on net, and then have the plan done for you. And imagine doing that for your team members too, and trying to help them build wealth through having a plan based on net. I mean, that is, to me, it's why I'm so passionate about this. It's why this got built.
Yeah, very cool. Anybody else have a question before we wrap up? Jeremy, really appreciate you joining us today and sharing. Good work. I know that it's a lot of work to build a tech company, and it's a labor of love. Jackie's got her hand up, so she probably has a question.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi, well, I just wanted to make a comment. I've dived into, the economic model, the budget model, the, lead gen model, and have always been looking for a solution that could put it all in one. And that's what I think this is. It's all those models in one platform. So I love it. Love it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. What makes us different, in my opinion, is that I'm 18 years in the industry. My wife has a team. I'm a coach. I know what agents should need versus a tech company that just built something for agents that may not have that insight. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And if you guys love this, should you guys move forward with this and you guys use it, which I want you guys to use it. I want you guys to love it. Let us know what questions and support you guys have. And like your business, let people know we exist. I think that we're the best kept secret in real estate right now. So the more integrations you want, I need more engineers, which means I need more signups. So share it with your friends.
Awesome. Well, Jeremy, thank you so much.
We have a couple questions, Don.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nicole
yeah.
Richards first.
Nicole, fire away.
Oh, yes. So with EXP, our year doesn't run as a calendar year. So how can we adjust our quarters or our data to represent when our cap renews?
Good question. So the how much you spend on your cap doesn't have a year associated to it. It just throughout the calendar year, how much is your cap? So there's not a start and a stopping point of that cap. So I don't think there would be any adjustments. Your annual year is still how much you want to net on your 1099 essentially, or for your fiscal year. But we don't have a starting point of when your cap starts. So I don't think it would actually be applicable. And as you guys start to use it, if you have an idea around that and it makes sense, certainly let me know and we'll see if we can do to make any adjustments that would be worthy.
Yeah, I mean, it's same thing at KW. We, everybody, well, actually the entire industry that has a cap system is working on a fiscal instead of a calendar year, right? So I think Nicole's saying, like, let's say she starts using it in July.
Yeah.
Okay. But she happens to be capped right now. When you're projecting so Nicole, when is your anniversary date? I'm just curious. This is take a real
Yeah,
situation.
it started May 1st.
May 1st.
Yep.
Okay. So she's just started her cap. So what would she set up? She would set up a 16 for her cap, but some of that has already presumably, well, I don't know if she's already closed the deal. It's only been 1 month, but do you see what her question is?
Yep.
I actually need a little clarity on it myself.
No, it's a great question, and the reality is it's a little bit more granular. Is going that way. When we look at the economic model, and pull this back up really quick. When we look at the economic model, pull this up. Here it is. I'll pull up a real account here. So this person's economic model, their goal is to net 300. This is the volume, this is the GCI, this is the entire cost of sale for the year, and their cap is in here. So it's still part of the annual numbers, your annual cost of sale, your annual gross profit, your annual GCI. It's part of the annual math, right? We don't have it starting at May. So if you're starting this in May, I would still create your 2024 economic model, right? That has how much you want to net for that calendar year, what your cap is, et cetera. What I would adjust is once you get your data in the system, then you may want to go back and adjust your seasonality to make sure that whatever closings you've done year to date matches up with what you've actually done. So for example, you may be at 15, 15, 40, 40, or math is wrong, 30, 40. So you may want to adjust your seasonality if you're coming in mid-year, but the annual math is still correct. It's just not going as granular to the month.
Yeah. So Nicole, in your situation, you would of course plug 16K in there, and you're going to cap, of course, in the calendar year 2024, and you also, so it's going to be a 16K expense regardless of when you started, even if you've already closed deals before you inputted this software. So let's say you paid off 4K of your cap before you started using the software, you still will pay 16 in total,
Sure.
right? So I think
I'll show you.
Jeremy's looking at it as a projecting tool for the year. And so, and then it does afford you the ability to then have a monthly P&L. Go ahead, Matthew. You have a question or a comment?
No, he was going to share. Go ahead, finish it out, Jeremy, on what this topic.
This summer, there's a broker and franchise fees, and it says what your broker fee is and how much you've paid. I'm noticing a bug that this should be all red or all green, actually. So we'll adjust that, but it shows you here how much you've paid towards your cap. So for example, this person actually put in too much money towards their cap, so they should go and adjust $868 back out. Also, this again, I think this is the most important report. It's our projected net profits report. This only pulls gross profit, and your cap is part of your cost of sales. So as far as mid-year, whenever your cap is, I'm always watching my gross profit estimated net number for your actual cash flow. And as you pay it, then you'll be able to see here how much you paid towards your cap, and it will still be part of your annual number.
Yeah, I guess that was probably more the question was, so when I'm in April, obviously January through April, I'm at 100%. And then in May, I'll be able to change that back to my 80-20 till I've capped again.
Yeah. In fact, I'll show you how that works really fast too. Do I have time, Don? Can I show you one thing?
Yep. And then we do need to wrap.
Yeah, we're good. In transactions, as your admin or yourself are entering transactions into the system, right here, you have your status, you have your client information, your income. Right here's your cost of sale. So who's getting paid what in this question here? Are you paying a broker split? Yes or no? So you would say, yes, I'm paying 20%. When you're done paying that, you just would no longer click yes.
Perfect. Okay.
Yes. Good.
Very cool. Fantastic job, Jeremy.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you
I
all.
might need to hire you to coach our other presenters.
Well, that's also kind. Thank you.
All right, you guys, you know what Tom says, you've gotten the inspiration. Go make some perspiration now. But seriously, if this is something that you would like to incorporate into your business, then I need to hear from you. Okay, because that's going to influence whether or not we bite the bullet. All right, thank you.
Bye.